Hey guys, the following clip is from a recent Twitter space hosted by George Hotz. George Hotz is a AI developer and he interned recently with Twitter to help Twitter change the platform. And this excerpt is Elon talking about advertising on the platform. And stick to the end. A really funny thing happens at the end, but uh, other people in the Twitter space trying to build off of what Elon says. So please enjoy this. And I think there's some interesting insights that we can glean from this.
An ad that is highly relevant is content. An ad that is irrelevant is spam. So we want ads that are as relevant to people's needs as possible. And yet I see many ads that, in fact, most ads are not relevant. And when I ask people what are the concerns about Twitter, it's like, well, Twitter keeps showing me the same ad that I don't care about all the time. I'm like, well, that seems crazy. But then I found the reason, which is that they were being asked to maximize impressions instead of, maximizing actual clicks and buying things, which is what they should be doing.
When you run an ad campaign on Twitter, you can choose, I think. I'm not really sure what the backend does. I heard the backend tries to maximize money, but you can choose whether you want to run an impressions campaign or whether you want to run a clicks campaign.
Yes, things have changed recently. So we have, basically since the acquisition, I was like, no, guys, we need to maximize relevance. And there actually has been good work in the direction of relevance optimization. So that this is, I don't mean to be sort of all negative here, but there's a lot of, there has been good work recently in the direction of actually having ads that are relevant.
For questions on this, I'm super nerdy about ad tech stuff. I'm super curious how Twitter can compete with like Google and Facebook, just in terms of their identity network and how well they have like bucketed groups of interest to target. Like, how does Twitter compete?
Actually, I think Twitter can actually do arguably better for someone that has used Twitter for some period of time. So if you have used Twitter for, let's say, I don't know, a few weeks, and if you have like you're several hours in, and it's the signal, the amount of signal that you have is high. You know what people, what topics people followed, what accounts people followed, what they liked, what you can say, certainly view count. There's and a bunch of the stuff is actually used at Twitter for recommended tweets, what is called sometimes the home timeline. If you like, there's like a little stars icon in the upper right of the Twitter interface, and it'll say like for you or latest. So for you is recommended tweets. A lot of people don't even realize that the upper right stars icon is a way that you can switch between recommended tweets and accounts that you actually follow. I bet a lot of people on this call currently do not know that is what that stars icon does. But the recommended tweets are actually pretty good.
Home ML.
Yeah.
Home ML is much better than Ads ML. Home ML is using much larger models, many more features. The Ads ML is very rudimentary.
Yes, but essentially, they should be going through the same pipeline.
Yeah.
So, if Twitter can accurately recommend tweets to you that you don't explicitly follow, it can by the same token also show ads that are relevant to you.
So the way that a lot of platforms do ad sales and a lot of like purchasers expect ads isn't necessarily, I'm going to give you these ads and I trust you to serve them to the right people. It's usually almost the opposite, where it's, I want to target this group of people in this region who went to a Jiffy Lube in the last 72 days. That level of micro targeting is something a lot of ad buyers now expect. And like, it's a huge part of how CPMs can get so high on platforms like YouTube.
Regardless of whether they're targeted or not, if your goal is CPMs, you should have a very good idea that someone's going to click on an ad before you show it to them. And you can do this with good ML.
But sometimes these advertisers will serve entirely different versions of the same ad to different
can you turn this guy
demographics.
off, please? He's just talking nonsense. Thanks. I've actually talked to the advertisers. I talked to major advertisers just this morning, and they were looking for, as you would expect, a return on investment. So that if they spend a certain amount of
I think solving the money problem is trying to figure out who is talking, but I think it was Theo right here who was talking.
money, are they going to get a return in excess of the amount of money spent? Quite rational, not arbitrary or random. So, and I won't say who it is, but there are major advertisers who spent $60 million on Twitter this year. And they were like, we calculated the ROI. Actually, like another company helped them calculate the ROI. And Twitter was the lowest. And this is why they're having difficulty spending additional money on Twitter, because they're literally looking at the lowest ROI. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, that's quite sensible. And then they were like, well, when this particular product is discussed in replies, wouldn't it make sense to, at that point, provide an ad that perhaps, since you are discussing this product, perhaps you would like to buy it? I'm like, yes, that would make total sense. We should, of course, do that. Well, they were like, yeah, that would be awesome. If you do that, then we will be glad to spend more advertising money. Meaning that they were very rational and not arbitrary and random.
I'll stand up for Theo. Worked at Twitch. He's provided some good stuff on this space so far. While
and I think that was George providing the zinger there that Theo actually worked for Twitch in some sort of advertising role. Not sure, but I think the disparity here, the disconnect was that Elon's trying to explain what the advertisers really wanted. And it's very simple. The advertisers want you to watch a piece of content that advertises whatever it is and for you to buy that thing. I think what Theo was trying to say was that the advertisers actually wanted something that was a proxy or like a one-off, that they wanted all this information about the person so that they could target ads to the person. But what Elon's saying is the content should be the advertisement, which I agree with. So what he's doing is rolling back the traditional thought around advertising on a platform and just saying, look, all we need to do is make the content the ad in and of itself, not have two separate things. Again, he's going to first principles here in that you want to see the content, and the content happens to be an ad in addition to this. I think that one example of this would be when you're watching a movie and you see product placement. You see a really cool car, you see a BMW, you see someone drinking a Coca-Cola, et cetera, that would be examples of what I think Elon is talking about, where there is a high correlation between what you're watching and like quality content, and then what the content has in it is basically what you're going to want to buy automatically. You don't need to go to a separate step and like spy on people or try to engineer like targeted ads. The content literally will say like, hey, I'm going jet skiing on a lake, and the jet ski is the product. For instance, like you're a jet ski enthusiast. That's why you clicked on the content to begin with. So really cool perspective from Elon. And I just thought it was super hilarious that the guy who is trying to teach Elon about advertising happened to have worked for Twitch. And I don't think that Twitch makes money. And obviously, like the one area that Twitch makes the most revenue from is advertisement. So they do lack in that regard. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll see you on the next one.